Welcome to We Chat Football, the channel where we chat football, and today we'll be digging deep into a new show. We just start kicking off. It's called Rivals Watch, where you know what we just take a look at a couple of the rival teams, see how they're doing in the league, see what's happening around them, improvements. If you want to say improvement, some of them who are battling relegation zones and stuff like that, just to see exactly. Sorry, what's popping off in the league. Again, you know what to do, people, when um you join. Like if you once you join, comment as well. Trying to get to 250 subscribers. We're on the road there, slowly working, slowly getting there. And yeah, so this week, you know what, we're gonna look at Tottenham. We're just gonna kind of break down the whole thingy with Tottenham right now. I know last season Tottenham had a good run in the league. Not a good run in the Europa League. Not much, not per se the league, but last season they had a good run in the Europa League, where they got to the Europa League finals with the Europa League, get qualified for the Champions League. Tottenham first trophy in forever, and I would say forever because it's been a really, really, really long time since Tottenham had won a trophy. So yes, it's been like their first trophy in like a very long time, and looking at this Tottenham team, I'm thinking, were they as bad as they were last season? I think not. I also think that maybe Ange could have done something special this time around if he got the third season going, but he didn't. Brought in Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank is trying to implement his style, his way of playing. It hasn't been like fully there yet, and I would say it hasn't been fully there yet with Thomas Frank because, again, a manager is still new. He hasn't gotten a chance to lay a marker down to do anything. He's just been through the door. Again, he's trying to get all his players in, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been a tough one, I would think, for Thomas Frank, getting everything up to speed and all that kind of stuff. However, we're looking at a Tottenham team right now who's pushing towards the top of the league. And I can say this right off the bat. They did have this amazing start with Ange when he first came through the door. 3 out of 3, no, that's three. The first 10 games, they were top of the league. They were flying. And everybody was like, yeah, Tottenham is here to stay. Yes, Tottenham looks the real deal and all that fun stuff. Then it fell apart in the end. Again, it fell apart with with Tottenham and stuff like that. So yeah, so it fell apart after a while with Tottenham, and Tottenham were not able to continue going forward with the whole progression that they made under Ange in the first season. Fell apart. Big speech came out that they always win in their second season, and second season came around. Abysmal, pretty much abysmal season if you look at it from the league perspective. But he put everything that he put into the Europa League, winning that, qualifying for the Champions League, which at the end of the season, I think that was the main objective, was to qualify for the Champions League, which he ended up getting done. So we're not gonna just go all crazy over that because that's exactly what happened. He got qualified for the Champions League. The board look at it and being like, you should have done better with both league and the Europa League. The squad is big enough for you to balance across both competition. You're not able to. Fine, we move, we change direction, and we try to find a new manager. Bring in Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank have the team looking better. Yes, Tottenham is not going to go 5 out of 5 at the start of the season. Tottenham is not going to go um, like or lose 5 out of 5. But what Thomas Frank have brought into Tottenham, I believe, is stability. Is something that was missing a bit since like Ange, not Ange, sorry, since the manager that was there before, like the previous managers, there was a bit of stability at the club. I mean, Jose had them in a final, in a cup final as well. Poch had a bunch of stability there. That's what I was talking about. Poch. There was a ton of stability that was at Tottenham when Poch was there. So therefore, you know how it goes. They were always in and around the top four. They were always in and around qualifying for the Champions League, all that kind of stuff. So yes, whenever Poch was there, then it looked great. Now we fast forward that and how much stuff has changed at Tottenham over the years. And again, as I said, new manager coming in, try to get his style in, winning in the Champions League, which is great. The draw that they get in the Champions League is really favorable to them, really, really favorable. So I believe that Tottenham can get out of the Champions League group stage that they're in. I believe they can get through it. I believe they can get into the next round. And again, they could get another lucky draw in the next round. You never know. Um, Thomas Frank could have the side clicking in the next round, right? And if he gets the side clicking in the next round, you just don't know. They could go on to create something amazing. And that's what I'm saying. Like they could go on to create something extremely amazing at Tottenham right now. And then we're looking at it and thinking, wow, what a transformation. Because this team has experience winning before. And one thing experience in winning does is that it breeds more winners. So again, they have a winning mentality. It's the same core that was there last season that delivered. So yeah, it's interesting to see what they're doing this season. The stats show that there's been a massive like improvement on the Tottenham over the last year, right? So goals they have scored what 10 and conceded 3 this season. So which is a massive improvement in the Premier League alone from last season, and that's good because last season they were like conceding a lot of goals in some of the worst case scenarios that you can think of. Tottenham were conceding a lot. One draw, one loss this season, where again, I think their loss come as a surprise. I would say for most people is a loss to Bournemouth, which is a surprise. But again, the way that Bournemouth has started the season, in hindsight, people are looking at it like, okay, maybe it's not as bad as we thought. In the process, people would say that you know what they haven't played anybody yet, but at the same time, you can just look at them and be like, you can only beat who's in front of you. So, team whoever is in front of Tottenham, they're able to show up, they're able to show out, and they're able to put them to the sword so far this season. And I mean, you talking about it, that they have 3 clean sheets this season, which is good, showing that the defense is working, showing how Thomas Frank is getting these guys moving forward and all that kind of stuff. And for me, so far, I am impressed. 5 games in, and I know there's not much to judge, but I am impressed with how Tottenham has adapted life under Thomas Frank. And a lot of the players that were on the fringes of getting sold or fans wanted to go. It started to get like a little bit of lease of life, I would say, under Thomas Frank. We see Richarlison starting off with a banger this season. Like it's Solanke struggling to get in the team. We saw the likes of Xavi Simons coming in. Xavi Simons looking good. Like it's one of them where it's a building process. Like I have Tottenham finishing within the Champions League places this season because I just believe that Thomas Frank is like an amazing manager. Finally given the chance to take on one of the traditional top 6, and we can see where like he goes from here. I mean, we look at some of the clubs that like we're looking at Thomas Frank. I know at some point he was linked with the Liverpool job at some point, and they're thinking that he could do a good job at Liverpool. So I mean, a lot of top clubs have looked at him. The fact that um, Tottenham went out and get him only to prove that they're moving into a more secured future, I would say, because what Thomas Frank has done at Brentford, we can't like look at it and be like, okay, then he's a bottom half manager, and this is what he does in the bottom half of the league. Because think about it this way: Brentford has come up, Brentford hasn't spent a lot, Brentford has reinvested in the squad, and he has kept Brentford far away from the relegation zone as far as can be. So yes, I would say like yeah, get like back Thomas Frank. He's good. I think he'll do great things at Tottenham, and I do think that Tottenham will have some big result this season. Don't think there will be much more shock result coming after um, this weekend. I think this weekend might be the another week, like the shock result against West Ham might be one of the few this season. I do think the club, just like every other club, I do think they'll kick on. I do think they'll push. I do think they will get a lot over the line this season, way more than what people think. The cups, I don't know what Thomas Frank is like in the cup competition. How seriously he will take the cup competitions going forward. For that part, I'm not sure. So therefore, I can't judge on the cup competitions right now. So because I am not 100% sure going forward, how will Thomas Frank treat the cup competitions? But what I know for sure is that going forward, Tottenham League finishes, Tottenham League, what do you call it, form will be better. And again, the Champions League is 100% the luck of the draw. That is what the Champions League is, 100% luck of the draw. So if Tottenham get a lucky draw in the round of 16, if they get out the group and get a lucky draw in the round of 16, then they could actually get it on to the round to the quarters. And again, if they went in defensively sound, able to hold out, able to push the team over the line, then we're looking at that. You know what, too? They could be in our semifinals. And again, I know what people says. It might be a little bit of a stretch, but think about it. It's all about the luck of the draw. Because if anybody said to you that Tottenham is going to qualify out of the group stage when when they got in and they hired Thomas Frank, you'd be like, nah, it's not going to happen. But the fixtures that Tottenham have in the Champions League now have you thinking that, you know what, they could get out the group. They could make it out the top eight, because there is a lot of winnable games that Tottenham have in the Champions League. So their Champions League game are really, really, really winnable. I know they played um, Villarreal, which is again winnable game, and they did win the Villarreal game. Let me just pull up their fixtures quickly. That this is just the Champions League. Their Champions League. The next match they have is Border Glim. We all expect Tottenham to beat Border Glim, right? And that could be 6 points already. Then they have Monaco. Could it be a tight game? Could be. I don't know how great Monaco is. I haven't got a chance to watch a French league this season as yet. I want to watch some more games on the French league this season because I do enjoy the French league. So yeah, I don't I don't know how much Monaco is, but they could pick up another 3 points out of Monaco. That's nine. They host Copenhagen at Tottenham. They could beat Copenhagen in Tottenham. That's 12. So Tottenham could be sitting 12 points from their first four games. It gets tricky when they go to Paris. They lose that game, but still, it could be 12 points from five games. This is just Champions League that we're talking about here. And then they host Slavia Prague. A win at Slavia Prague, that's 15 points. That for me is guaranteed top eight. And even if it's not top eight, That's sure a playoff spot. That's what I mean. So 15 points, you're in the playoffs. So then you're going to get one of the teams that finish even lower to qualify. And then they host Borussia Dortmund, which say Borussia Dortmund showed up. Say Borussia Dortmund showed out and Borussia Dortmund beat Tottenham. Still, they're still sitting on 15 points. And then they have Frankfurt to go to in Germany, which could be a tricky game. So if Tottenham accumulate 15 points out of their games in the Champions League, the 8 games, they accumulate eight, yeah, eight games. So even out of the 8 games, they accumulate 15 points. That's 15 points good enough to get them to the next round of the Champions League. And you never know who they might get. Because let's it's not like what the Champions League was before, where they have a bunch of weak teams playing against a bunch of strong teams in the group. So you have 2 strong teams, 2 weak teams, and one group might have 4 strong teams in it. Look at that group as a group of that, and we go from there. This is not it right now. This is something. This whole Champions League is something different. So you look at the table, you look at the brackets, you're looking at all that kind of stuff, and then you never know. They could have a good run in the Champions League. I'm not saying win the Champions League, but they could have a good run in the Champions League. And if Tottenham have a good run in the Champions League, that's more revenue coming in. With Daniel Levy out, they might be spending more money. I'm just saying, it's a possibility that they might be spending more money. So yeah, we just have to keep a close eye on Tottenham right now. And again, points on the board. 15 points could get you out the league, could get you out the Champions League group stage, and you're on to the next round. The cup competition, like the FA Cup, the League Cup, the Carling Cup, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how serious Tottenham is taking it, but in my honest opinion, Tottenham squad is still good enough for the manager to rotate and they beat any team that they have in front of them going into the League Cup. Um, if they are playing League Cup, I'm not sure. Don't know if they're still in the League Cup, but if they are, then yeah. So they're playing Doncaster today. So Tottenham should be able to rotate and beat Doncaster, going over to the next round of the League Cup. And then we see the draw of the League Cup because I think the League Cup draw is going to be coming up next. And if they keep getting, because you can have a lucky season where you avoid a lot of big teams in cup competition. And here you are in the semifinals, and you could be on good form. Because if the Premier League team, if they're in the Premier League and they're picking up wins and they're at good form, depending on who they play at what point in the season and how they're looking at that point in the season, you could see maybe the stronger Tottenham team playing against, like, if they have a better team to play against and win because the rotation is better at Tottenham due to the fact that Thomas Frank is rotating better. A lot of players would be on form, a lot of players would be coming back, and Tottenham do have a deep squad. I know it's not something that people talk about a lot is Tottenham squad depth, but Tottenham squad depth ain't bad. Tottenham has like a good squad depth so far. So yeah, I am not too going over the top with the whole Tottenham thing because I just believe that again with Tottenham they do have what it takes to push in the Champions League and finish top four. They do have it, and they can go on a couple good cup runs because again the squad is deep. They have a really good squad. We've seen it this season. I know a lot of the rivals go off the oh yeah it's only Tottenham blah blah blah, but we have seen it this season where rotation has come in and the players who come in for the rotation looks really really well. So yeah, I do believe that Tottenham is looking good this season. And again, me personally, I always say I don't recognize Tottenham as a top six because they don't win anything. No, I have to change that. They won a Europa League. So yeah, welcome to the top six finally. And after winning the Europa League, they're pushing on. They're looking better. They're looking stronger. They're looking like they're ready to go the next step. And that's all we can look. That's all I guess a Tottenham fan could ask for is making the next step, going forward, right? And it's a good look for Tottenham. I mean, personally, I don't see Tottenham as a rival, and I have reasons being because I'm in Liverpool. They're top six, but I don't see them as a rival like that. Just like Arsenal, I don't see Arsenal as a rival like that. I just see Arsenal as another competitor for the league, but not a rival. Because again, I don't see Liverpool Arsenal as a rivalry. Like I actually don't mind Arsenal. And that's the first thing. Um, so same for Tottenham. I know an Arsenal fan wouldn't be saying this, but same for Tottenham. It's just rival watch. And I'm just trying to be balanced with this whole rival watch thing and not go over the top, not going like crazy with the whole takes and all that kind of stuff. But when we do look at it and we do dig into the whole thing with Tottenham, it's the fact that they had a great start to the season. And yes, a lot of people can point to the fact that um, they had that before. It's not the first time they had a great start to the season because they did that under Ange. When Ange started, they had a great start to the season. Everything was looking great. And then it all falls apart. Yes, we see that. That happened before. But I think Thomas Frank is more adaptable. I think Thomas Frank can approach a game knowing that, listen, I am not the favorites for this game. So therefore, I'm going to set up to get a result out of this game because the precedent is not for me to go out and win a league. The precedent is not for me to go out and deliver multiple trophies in a season. I think Tottenham is good enough to win a cup this season. Will they? Not sure. But will Thomas Frank be judged for not winning a cup this season? No, because he's at Tottenham. And Tottenham isn't built to continuously win silverware. And again, that's not a shot, but coming off of what happened the season before and last season, I would say this: a good Champions League run, a good cup run, top four finish for Tottenham would look as a progressive season. Success, maybe some would say, but I would say a progressive season because at the end of every season, success is defined by trophies, and if you don't have it, then you can't say you had a successful season. You had a progressive season, not a successful season. So, yeah, those are the two. Those are the difference with both of those. But yeah, um, does Tottenham have what it takes to actually deliver silverware this season? Not sure, but I think it's gonna be too early under the whole Thomas Frank regime at the moment. I think he's working with what he has because he's really good at that. Is he able to improve the squad a lot more? Could. There's a lot of young players that got brought into Tottenham that, again, if they click, it's gonna be crazy. A lot of people write off Tell. Tell is being written off by his own fan base. I do believe that Tell will come good. I do believe that he will come good in the future. Xavi Simmons, Kudos, Richarlison, Solanke. They do have Madison coming back. They have Bergval in the midfield. They like Papa Matasar. Like they have some quality young players that's coming through right now. Archie Gray is another one of them, which is quality. And we are just quality youngsters. And we've seen what Thomas Frank did at Brentford with both young players and also players who just need that chance to show that they can perform. And I think it's a good combination. The fact with Thomas Frank at Brentford and what's his name and Tottenham, it's a very good combination to have both of them. And this is where it is like crazy. There's the people to come in right off Tottenham out right off the bat and said that okay then I don't think they're gonna have a great season and that kind of stuff. But I think the great start to the season that Tottenham have will continue. I think they will push on. I think they will end up finishing top four this season. And who knows? It might bring some silverware at the end of the season. but that's yet to see. Um, will they fall away at some point? It depends. And it depends on their matches. It depends on how much matches that they have stacked up with each other. And that's it. It's how much matches they have fully stacked up. I know they have Wolves next. Everybody would expect Tottenham to beat Wolves. That's a fact. And they have Leeds away at Leeds. Could be a tough one because I do think that Leeds is a very good team in the league this season. And at Ellen Road, that could be a tough one. And Villa at home. So they have a bunch of tough games because I do think Leeds, Villa, and Everton away, these are tough games. These are not like a walk in the park. Should they win? Yes, because they're traditionally one of the top six. Could they lose? Yes, because these grounds are really tough grounds to go at. You can't just pop up at these grounds and just expect 3 points because that's not how it works in the Prem. Some grounds are just really tough and you have to grind it out and you have to have a difference maker. So that's the other thing. And again, dropping points doesn't mean that they lose there. Dropping points just mean that they just pick up a draw there and they're not able to get over the line. And then you have they have Chelsea at home, a team that they struggle with, and they have Manchester United at home. And if Manchester United still have Amarim, they could pick up a win there. And then um, Arsenal away, and then Fulham at home. So they have in November they have three teams in London and Manchester United, which I think could be one of their trickiest period over the season. And this is where they might fall away a little bit is in November. But if they're able to come out a lot of these games with a positive result, then that's a whole different ball game that we're looking at right now. If Tottenham is able to pull away with a massive result over these couple of games, and then again, still have to see are these games like lined up with the Champions League game, and it's Thomas Frank is going to do the smart thing is make sure that they qualify for the next round of the Champions League and balance that with the games that are playing in in the Premier League, 2 games a week. But I know how the thing is this now: the Champions League format has changed a bit, which is I mean crazy. It's not now 2 games a week. It's you play midweek 1 week, break midweek, break midweek. So we see how that transpire for the rest of the season and see how they work on that. Next thing is that if they, again, as I said, if they deliver silverware this season, I am not shocked. I would not be shocked if Tottenham delivered a silverware this season, right? Great start to the season. I could see them finishing top four. I could see them get out of the group stage of the Champions League, and in the round of 16, if they make it to the round of 16 of the playoff, I could see where they get a favorable draw. And if they get a favorable draw, that's them into the next round. And then we can see if Thomas Frank can navigate a lot of these big teams in Europe with Tottenham. And that's where that is, right? Anyway, guys, again, trying to get to 250 subscribers. Remember, subscribe if you're new, subscribe if you like the content, and give it a like. If you're watching it on replay, just drop a like, drop a comment if you're watching it on replay, just to give a feedback on if you like the video, yes or no. All right, peace. Catch you on the other one.